Mhm. All right. Welcome everyone back to the yes.
She
Did you
just
have it?
said recording in progress.
Yeah, it actually did this time. That's
I
interesting.
told you.
Last time it didn't say that at all. It actually asked me if I wanted to record.
Yeah. But she's, yeah.
Do you know why? I'll bet.
Why?
I'll bet last time we were recording from my account.
Oh, we're recording from my account this
Yeah,
time.
I'll bet
Oh,
that's the difference.
that's
So welcome
funny.
everybody. We're fascinated by the changes of Zoom that are random. So that was kind of interesting. So, but um we welcome you back to talk about some, the conversations that we have sometimes or what we think people might need to hear. But today, I'm going to kind of highlight Jen because she did a call that some people got in on and some missed out on. And I think all women need to actually participate in or listen to because there's a lot of very valuable information and steps that were developed over a very long period of time to be able to get to the place where you can find, happiness, joy, contentment, all those different things. And then also, you're not confused about what you're doing because you know what it's supposed to feel like ahead of time. And so that makes a big deal. And we have all these women coming in all the time into the membership, into private coaching or whatever. And there's a lot of things that it's well, to me, it seems like there's this question of always like, well, I don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Comes up a lot. And so you've kind of shown them like this is how you'll know what to do,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we're gonna
Should
kind
I go grab my paper really quick?
of well, I mean, I don't know if I want to give them too
Well,
much. I
I'll
mean,
just
just
show. Okay, I won't show.
they can like they know where to find it.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
Okay.
More like maybe just start by the question of, why did you decide to do this? To well, first, what was it about to start with?
The class?
Yeah.
Well, I called it a relationship vision class, basically, where we were going to get together and write relationship visions.
Okay. And why did you decide to do that?
Because when I made this vision, I said it was a relationship vision,
Hmm.
and it is a relationship vision, but it's actually after you do it, it's more than a relationship vision. It becomes like a life vision, if you
Yeah.
will, and it's really good. Why did I
Life guide.
A life guide, kind of like it's like how do we like it's not only getting to know yourself, it's getting to know yourself, figuring out what all parts of you want, and then kind of being intentional about like deciding about how all parts of you is going to be showing up in life. That's what it is, basically.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so,
But it's just much easier to call it a relationship vision.
well, most people don't even have the vision to build the guide to to begin to understand that it just gives you so much clarity and power inside of making a decision to do something or not do something. And it gives strength and discipline and just really makes life a lot easier. Sometimes the hard decisions aren't necessarily easy, but when you know you're making the right hard decision is a lot easier than when you're not sure about the decision you're making, right?
Yes.
In other words, let me
I
reference
was
that.
trying to like process
Yeah,
what you
let me
just said in my head.
so here's we'll take one topic. Um Woman meets guy, dating guy, a little unsure on one of the areas on how he's showing up. Well, if she doesn't have the vision of what she wants that creates the feeling inside, then she's like, well, I could go this way. And then you start to fall in love with potential, or you create the story of what you think what you want it to be, even though there's nothing to back it up, versus having a clear vision that gives you the feelings. And when you have the feelings of what you want to feel, and then all of a sudden something's happening in the relationship and you're not getting those feelings, you get to say no. Or you get the feelings and you're like, everything is on point. I'm loving this. And then from there, if it's on point, you continue to the next step, next step. But if it's like I'm not getting what I want, you can kind of say no to it and see what happens. It doesn't always mean you just shut the door. Sometimes it does, but you can look at it and say, well, I need to have a discussion about this and say, hey, I'm not getting, like, I don't think this is what I want right now. So I don't know. And often by presenting that, you'll see something shift, or like maybe an assumption was being made. And then you get clarity. And then the clarity brings out the truth. And then once you know you have the truth, and you're like, now I'm getting the feelings that I want, right? Potentially. Does
Hmm.
that make sense as far as what I said is about the feeling, like getting the feelings or not getting the feelings?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you went and did this call during the membership call where it's women only, right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm not really privy to, I guess, in a sense. I mean, I could ask and she'll tell me, it doesn't matter. But I just kind of don't want to play in that. It's like let the women be women, let me be a man and show up how I need to show up without any influence of something they're talking about. I don't really care.
I feel like you are so good at what you do. Like you're so good, and you're so good at helping people, and like but I think sometimes like I have some magical tools and stuff as well to share with people, and it's like you and I might be delivering the same message, but we deliver it in completely different ways.
Yep.
And I think sometimes it's really great to hear the message from a more like masculine um structure where
And then sometimes it's better to feel your way through it.
sometimes it's better to feel your way through it. And so like that's why I appreciate it and I'm excited to like get the women alone for a little bit sometimes, and so we can have more like discussion about creating the lives we want, but in more of like a feminine flow type. Like we need to bring in the masculine structure but also the flow, and like together it's like a beautiful thing. So but yes, the feeling part of it is good.
Yeah. And for, I mean, I cannot do what you do, right? Because even if I took the same material and tried to relay it, it's not going to communicate the same, just even simply because of my intensity,
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean, I
Or
really just
whatever.
listening to you talk makes me think that like I'm actually real like the whole relationship vision and like the tools, if you will, that I have around discernment and like
Mm,
picking a partner and all these things. It really is like when you boil it down, I think it's about like trusting your intuition,
yeah.
and you can help us learn how to trust our intuition, but I think sometimes I am a female who had to learn how to trust myself and my
Mm,
intuition. And but it comes through like healing and um a lot of healing, right?
mm. A
And
lot of understanding,
healing, understanding self-love, um and also
investigation.
investigating, setting boundaries, like all those things, but and you get it. Like you're really good at it, but like I actually experienced
Yeah.
it.
Which makes you the authority on it, and how you, and not only that, but one of the things that we teach is, if you want to learn from somebody that has what you want, but has also been where you are, right? Like that's kind of a qualifier. Now you can learn from anyone; it doesn't matter. But if you want to go make a $100 million or $1 million or $1 billion or whatever, and you're trying to learn how to make $1 billion or even $1 million from a billionaire that was born a billionaire, you're not going to learn what you need to learn, right? Because that's a completely different structure. If if you come from like a broken home, never had two parents in the same roof over their head, um, possibly drugs, trauma, sexual trauma, all this crazy stuff, your childhood programming is a disaster essentially. Your relationship programming is a disaster. And so you've got to kind of ask yourself, like, if I'm just going to the person with the perfect relationship, have they ever been in a disaster? Because if they haven't, I don't know how to can they really help me? And when push comes to shove, psychologically, what's going to happen is when you need that little extra last bit of growth, your psyche is going to challenge it and be like, well, they don't understand. And in that statement alone right there, they don't understand. You give yourself permission to quit.
And when you say, well, they don't understand, yeah, you give yourself permission to quit, but in that moment, you immediately stop listening
Yep.
and shut your heart.
Yep. And so even though I can empathetically get in somebody's energy and understand where they're at and try to help them through it, if that thought comes into mind, then you stop listening. But if you're a woman listening to me try and tell you about advancing a relationship or how to frame a relationship or how to show up or anything else, there's a certain authority to it because one, you know, you can listen to a man and realize kind of like the beauty in it or whatever needs to happen and also the care or the whatever. But there's going to come a moment when you're in a situation and I might say, well, what you ought to do is this. Granted, there's a context, but your psyche is just going to override me, period. Like you're just going to override me because I'm a guy. It just is what it is. But when you hear it from her, it's different. It's like she's a woman that has what she wants, that is continually growing and working further and further into it, that has fulfilled a lot of this vision, you know, that as time goes on and continue to move forward and get bigger and grow. And so there's a lot more authority and power in that who do you listen to type of statement.
Well, the other thing is like you can walk people through a relationship vision, no problem. Like you can help people create one.
Mhm.
And anybody can like sit down and write out a vision, but you cannot write out a vision like mine.
Me.
And nobody can write out one like me
Okay.
unless I walk them through it. And
Yeah.
and because it's just so, like I said, it's not just a vision. It's not just like I want a white picket fence, I want 3 kids, I want 2 dogs, I want this, he must make $100,000 a year. Like it's not like that.
Yeah. No.
It's which is great to have.
It's a starting place.
My relationship, my first relationship vision started like that,
Yeah.
actually.
Hmm.
But it progressed and became about 20 pages long, more about feelings and just how I'm committed to showing up in this world.
Mhm.
And then it was me showing up like that and then just attracting you into my life who just so happened to fit in beautifully.
Yeah.
And anybody that didn't fit in was automatically,
And
out.
and you knew
I knew right
it
away.
wasn't a guess. It was like you knew.
I knew. And it wasn't a guess. And it's like, and it is about, also though, I knew, but I learned how to trust, like I trust myself because I knew, like I
Mhm.
put it on the paper and I'm like, this is my guide. This is how I know. And it was like, it's so good. So getting I've shared it with people like one-on-one before, never in such detail as I did in the class. But doing the class was the first time I had shared it, and then helped everybody create their own using the same framework. Um, the first time I've ever done it like that for a whole group. So that was super cool. And
So
everybody loved it.
and this is essentially based on pretty much since before your divorce. It's probably when this kind of started.
It started before my divorce, but this particular one was created in 2021.
But I'm looking at it from the perspective of like how much effort, knowledge, and money did you put into it to develop it
Oh yeah.
into something that you can actually deliver in like an instant practice in perspective. right? So this was something that was developed what 5 years ago, started, but would be the beginning of it.
Minimum.
Okay, five, maybe all the way back to but pre
Well,
like Tom Chanel.
I mean, well, my first date with Destiny was in 2018,
So that's 6 years right there.
6 years ago for that.
Hmm.
But there was work done before I got to there
Right.
because I went to date with Destiny 6 months after I had already quit drinking. So I was already on like the path
So
of
more like 7 years.
growth. Sure, 7 years.
Okay, so basically you're taking 7 years, um, tens of thousands of dollars, like probably spent over $100,000 on coaching and events and everything.
Maybe like 50 to 100 somewhere.
I
I
think it's
don't know.
more than that, but
I don't know.
anyway,
Who's
a,
who's
a
counting the
significant amount of effort, energy, commitment, um, everything into it, and then basically you're taking it and applying it and able to, at this point, you package it up and kind of sell it or whatever. But then you have the membership call where after someone's gone through it, they can actually come in there, just women, and talk directly to you potentially. Right.
Yeah.
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 So super high value.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, so on the actual call, I gave everybody the framework. We walked through and I helped them with examples, read them parts of mine. Like I was really vulnerable on the call. It was really good. And then they didn't actually like write theirs on the call, like, but they had the framework
Mhm.
and they were like ready to turn it into like a actual written vision. But then anybody after the call could definitely come to me with questions for sure,
Yeah.
if that's what you're asking.
And you do have some one-on-one clients that you're working with directly one-on-one that are having some pretty amazing experiences inside the dating world,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And my one client who like we'll just say we'll call it say she manifested an amazing man in less than a month of us working together. She has not even written out her vision yet. But just from us working together, I taught her how to trust herself.
Yeah.
And that has that there in itself has helped her, not hang on to what's not right for her. So
Yeah.
it's been really good. And she's super happy right now. So
Well, and recently, like I have a few women clients that are either in a relationship or working on a relationship or whatever, and kind of open it up to where you can help them. And they're even though I've said certain things over and over again, they're hearing it differently. Right. Like they're being impacted by you, and they're also more vulnerable with you on some subjects,
mm-hmm.
which is very, very powerful.
That's why I love that we get to like do this together because I really feel like Mac brings in like so much certainty and structure and like he's really great at coming up with like solutions and outcomes and like, moving people like truly like from here to here and doing it fast, right? Like your theme song.
What's my theme song?
You know what your theme song is. Sing it. You want me to
I'm,
do it?
I'm guessing you're the
I'm in a hurry to get things done.
not not quite my theme song.
Well, when it comes to moving clients, like he's just really good at saying, this is where you are, this is where you want to go, and this is what needs to happen,
Yeah,
right?
that's just like uncovering the truth so that everyone can see it, and you can make a decision on what's next.
He's so good. He's so good at I'm saying he, like you're not sitting right here. You're so good at investigating and finding the truth, asking the right questions, and like getting to the
Mhm.
the root like fast,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, I do also have a high level of empathy.
Yes.
It doesn't always appear that way to some people because I move so quick where someone can bring something heavy to me, and I just like take it in and go, okay, then let's do this.
Yeah, and I think too, we both will say the same thing, but say it in different
Oh,
ways, like you
all the
said.
time.
And so
Yeah,
sometimes like we hear it out of your mouth and it really resonates. And
yeah,
then other times I say it and they're like,
it's different.
oh, right.
Or
But like,
or even timing, right? Like you can say it this day, this day, this day, this day. Well, last night they had an experience, and then you say it again, and they're like,
mhm.
oh.
There's is one client who is experiencing some pain. Can I just say I won't pain with a guy that she's like really interested in who's moving away.
Mm,
And so like we don't know yet where that how that's gonna play out, but inside the vision that I wrote, my own personal vision, I have in there like this is how I show up when we're long distance. So I'm still making sure because you could go on a trip and I could sit at home and feel sad and miss you and think about, oh, this sucks, like this isn't fair, all the things.
and then question everything in your head, and then every phone call is bad because you're trying to find the significance of, is everything okay?
Right.
Type of thing.
Like if you don't have it kind of figured out, like I could be creating problems to get connection with you.
Yep.
Or I could, like that. Or maybe we don't talk for a whole, like not a whole day, but like maybe I don't hear from you for a few hours. Like I don't sit and stew over what's happening
Yeah.
with you. Like, oh, he doesn't love me anymore, this, that, the things.
Missed a phone call. Oh.
But it's like in my vision, there's a whole section there that says like this is how I show up when we're not together. It actually says like we are intentional about keeping the passion alive whether we're together or separate. I do this, I do this, I do this. And I wrote some ideas of things that like I will do um when we're long distance because I want to keep it fun and fresh and I want to keep the passion alive even if we're not sitting here together just like this. So I'm just really intentional about writing it out,
Yeah.
making sure.
So I don't really want to go much more into it. I just really want to kind of point out the fact of the matter that there is a bucket of gold sitting at the end of this, that if you want to plug into, it is there. And as for if if there's any of the guys that are in here watching, um, you got to keep in mind that the right perspectives, you'll pick up on the energy of these other women that are learning, and you'll pick up on Jen's influence of what's kind of like how she can influence me or influence the group or whatever. So you may not go through the relationship vision that she has. I have a different way of doing it, but you will be influenced by the differences, and see like how much more peaceful it is, and how things can be upheld or withheld or whatever. So there is a, well, for the guys, I'll just put it this way: I don't fuck around. We just do things as men. And when we do things as men, that's when we fulfill the wishes of the women. And then we get what we want at the end of it. So, I mean, if you want to get what you want, then you just got to follow kind of like some of these basics. But part of it is being around this to understand it, because there's certain things as a guy that are ever changing. Okay. And we forget. And so if you're not kind of seeing the different things to remind yourself to stay plugged in, to stay current, to stay up to date, then you're going to drift, you're going to stay, and it's going to lead to more disaster than growth and progress and all the great shit. So for you, but for the women, I'm going to encourage you to find Jen, to ask her to like get as much information as you can. I've been in several different relationships. I've really pushed myself to grow through all of them, to find ways to like how it works, what doesn't work. And I can tell you that if you want a guy that's going to stand at this level, then you're going to have to do some of the things she's talking about doing. I talked to, I don't know how many women I talked to. I mean, we met pretty quick after my separation, my divorce, but I did not even, I knew what I knew, so I moved forward quick. And I talked to a lot of women. I went on a lot less dates than you did through your stuff, but I'd kind of been through different things before in my life anyway. And so I kind of already knew where I was, but I was so intentional about what I wanted that usually a brief conversation told me what I needed to know, like instantly. It wasn't a matter of, well, let me see who this person is. It's like, no, we would start talking and immediately I could assess where they were and what that they weren't a fit. So there was probably over 200 different started conversations, probably 40, 50 that went more than just a back and forth, and I don't know, eight-ish actual face-to-face connections. And that's about it. But it was that easy to whittle out all those, and we're talking in a very short period of time from knowing what you want. And from this perspective of me saying this, and this, I could tell which ones had the desire for growth. One, right? And so it's like if you're not growing or you can't say certain things or do certain things, like you're not going to find a guy like me. Okay, just not going to happen because we see through it. We're like, what a pain in the ass. I don't need this. I don't, and I'm not going to be your savior. I don't have time for that. You have to be somewhat proactive in life. And I'll tell you, 90% of what I heard from most of the women is what them downplaying what they wanted, just trying to get here, right? I'll give up everything else if I could just get a good relationship. It's like, why? Why not have it all? Like, I don't understand. Who told you you could only have this just because you're in a current situation that you have less than? So if you can get a guy that just won't cheat on you, you'll be happy. No, you won't. Now you'll be happy for a short period of time, but if he doesn't meet your needs, you're screwed. And Jen is going to tell you more and bring out the needs that you need met so that you can define your goals and your desires of like, now I know what I'm looking for. If the guy doesn't meet this or he can't do that or has no evidence or just can't do it, then I need to just move on. But there's a few needs that each of you have individually, very specific to you, that when you have it aligned, this this random guy is going to show up and he's going to meet these needs in a way that are going to blow your fucking mind. And then you're going to know. But if you haven't defined those, you're never going to know. And you're just going to be out there spinning, thinking, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? Should I? And then you're going to solicit advice from your stupid ass friends that have bad relationships, right? Because that's because you talk to the people and you can probably look at them and be like, do you want that? Well, no. Well, don't take their advice. And they're like, you can consider, but what you don't want that influence coming in. Trust me. So trust the process. Reach out. You can find Jen on Facebook.
One thing I really love too is that like before I even met you, I had my vision already written and done.
Mhm.
And I said it, say it's a relationship vision, it's a life vision, but like it's really like it really was a me developing a strong relationship with myself and a relationship with like the universe or God, right? And so like after I wrote it and I really started to like embody it, that's when like you came along and and you did not commit to me right away, but you knew I was different.
Mhm.
And I think it was a little bit because I was not maybe projecting, like I wasn't projecting a neediness or
Well, you were content.
I was, yeah. And so I was content because I was already like, I was in a beautiful relationship with myself, with the universe. And then Mac is over here and he's just great. So, and I'm just over here smiling like it didn't even matter. And then it just like he kept, now I'm speaking, I like, you kept kind of wanting more. And I kept just staying true to my vision and watching how you showed up. And you continue to can fit right into it, right into it, right into it.
And likewise.
Yeah. And it was just so great. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. But you can find Jen on Facebook if you just go to Jen Lockhart Grant, I think is the title, right?
Jen Lockhart Grant
Or you can, I think, I'm not sure. Is there a way to sign up on the website? Is
on
there like a link to actually click to buy?
our website.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I don't really like it's like a link and it's like weird, but for the membership.
Yeah.
So this is the easiest way to find the link to the membership is go to my Facebook page and it's right in my bio.
Mm,
You just
okay.
click it and it's right there.
Yeah. So
Did
if
you know that?
no.
No.
So that's one place to get started and get involved if that's where you're at. If you really know that you want to engage in it, then I suggest reaching out directly to Jen um, and get with that. Or if guys, you can reach out to me as well. On Facebook as well. So just plug in. You got to start somewhere. Continue here. I'll leave you with this. You know you want more, whether you're in a relationship or outside of a relationship. You know you want more. Everybody does, and progress is happiness. That simply just is what it is. You know you need to do more. You want to do more. This isn't a guilt trip. This isn't put pressure. It's just like, no, this is encouragement, support. Like we want to be there to help you to do more, just like we reach out to our coaches to level up or do more or whatever. And we're challenging each other all the time to try to figure out more things to stay passionate and fun. And this doesn't just go for relationship. This goes for there's a business between you and your business. There's a relationship between you and your business. There's a relationship between you and your spirituality. There's a relationship between you and your finances or your kids or your whatever
Your body.
body. Exactly. So what no matter what it is, there's something here for that, and we want to help with that. So reach out. Anything else?
That's great.
Okay, we're gonna end it at that. But
Yay.
ladies, plug into Jen. She's gonna show you what you need to know. So, all right, we will see you guys next week.
Thank you.
And then I got to figure out how to the thing hid on me. Stop recording. Bye, everybody.